Yes, I'm live now. Welcome once again to another new video. And good evening, everyone. This is Santu Sahu, and you are watching Sahu's tutorial. Do join quickly, and I hope that you are all well by the grace of Almighty. Here, in this YouTube video, here I'll be discussing Indian diaspora writings. We'll be deeply delve into the diaspora writings. What is diaspora writing, and everything will be one by one discussed. Do join quickly and let me know if everything is okay here. Please do let me know. Have you joined? Yeah. So I'll be covering Indian diaspora writers. Okay. What is diaspora writers? Who are the main diaspora writers? Good evening, everyone. Chalo. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. So, what is diaspora writer? Any idea? Have you heard the term earlier? I think you have also heard the phrase diaspora. So, the first thing that comes in your mind is that what is diaspora? Okay. Diaspora means actually the dispersion of people from their homeland to another land. That is actually scattering. Diaspora means what? Diaspora means it's a Greek term. It has come from the Greek term scattering. Okay, the dispersion of people from their homeland is referred to as diaspora from Greek term scattering. But what do you mean in literature? What is diaspora literature? Okay, so diaspora literature usually it's a very vast concept. It's a very wide concept, and these are the writings of the authors who have left their homeland and now adopted a second land, that is in a foreign land they are now settled. Now from that foreign land they are writing their things. So diaspora literature, it's a very vast term, it's an umbrella term that is including all the works that are written by the authors outside their native country. But when they are writing from that outside of the country, all these works are actually related with or associated with the native culture and their background. They do not forget their background. There is the assimilation of culture, amalgamation of two cultures. There is the amalgamation of two cultures. One culture, that is the previous one, their homeland, and the culture of the foreign country that they are in. So there is the amalgamation of two culture, assimilation of two culture, and there is also acculturation, that is also called assimilation here. So they have migrated to a land, but they are always associated with the homeland, and they do not forget about the roots of their own homeland. And on the other hand, they always struggle to find their own identity. So there is the struggle for own identity, search for identity, quest for its own identity when they are in the adopted land. Maybe they are settled, but they are not properly settled in their adopted land, because always they have the feeling, they have the guts of their own homeland. Always they struggle to find their own identity, their own search, own quest for identity is always there, and that elements can be found in their works. So roots, they haven't forget their roots actually, and those writings are in a nostalgic form. The tone is melancholic, and they always feel that they are alienated. So these are the characteristics, elements of diaspora writer. But our today's topic is Indian diaspora writer. We have Sri Lankan diaspora writer, we have Bangladeshi diaspora writer, we have American diaspora writer, we have British diaspora writer, we have Indian diaspora writer. So our today's topic is Indian diasporic writers. So here, as earlier I have mentioned, that dispersion of people from one land to another, from their homeland to another foreign land, is called diaspora, and it has come from the Greek term called scattering. So the basic definition of diasporic literature is, it's a very vast concept, umbrella term that includes all the works or literary works written by the authors outside their native country. But these works are always associated with the native culture, native background. And in this wide context, all those writers can be regarded as diaspora writers, who write outside their own country but remain related to their homeland through their works. And diaspora literature has its roots in the sense of loss and alienation. They always feel that they are being alienated. The sense of loss and alienation can be found in their works. Like Bharati Mukherjee's wife, Jasmine. Okay, these are works, and in that works we are finding the sense of loss and alienation, which emerged as a result of migration and expatriation. So it is because of, why have they gone there? Because they have gone to another country or foreign country because of their settlement, because of their opportunities they have when they have gone to another country. So it is because of the result of migration and the expatriation. So we can also divide Indian English literary diaspora in two parts. One is the first generation immigrants, another one is the second generation immigrants. First generation immigrants were not so much, they were actually settled in the, they were not feeling alienated actually. Rather, the second generation immigrants of diaspora writers were feeling alienated actually. The first generation immigrant writers represent immigrants who have spent a considerable amount of time in their homeland and trying to adapt to the new environment after immigration. So the writers who have already lived, who have spent lives in India, and now they have gone to another new country and to the foreign land where they are trying to adapt the new environment after immigration. They are the first generation immigrant writers of the Indian diaspora. And second generation immigrant writers, on the other hand, is representing the descendants of the first generation immigrants. Famous writers of diaspora Indian English literature include Amitav Ghosh, Salman Rushdie, Kamala Markandeya, that is the noun here of the famous work by Kamala Markandeya, Bharati Mukherjee, Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, Anita Desai, Kiran Desai to Vikram Seth, Meena Alexander, then Snehata Gupta, Alvind Aditya, Vikram Chand, Neil Mukhar, then Harikant. The portrayal of the Indian immigrants in fiction produced by diaspora female Indian writers is thought to be more delicate and more sensitive. But the female Indian diaspora writers' works were very delicate and more sensitive and appeals the most the international reader as well. Appeals to the international reader as well. So literature of old generation diaspora Indian writers like Raja Rao, G.V. Deshani, Santaram Rao, and the Rajan, Neeraj Chaudhary, Bel Mehta mainly look back on India and hardly ever recorded their experiences away from Indian as expatriates. Okay, they are already settled in foreign countries. Okay, they are not feeling alienation actually. That's why here they hardly ever record their experiences away from Indian as expatriates. Yeah. And it is as if these writers have discovered their Indianness when they are out of India. So they are very happy even. Evidently, they have the benefit of looking at their homeland from the outside, and the distances offers detachment that is also required, okay, to have clear insight of their native land. So the first generation of Indian diaspora writer actually, they have the benefit of looking at their homeland from the outside, and the distance offers a detachment that is so required to have a clear insight of their native land. But gradually we will find that the old diaspora of indentured laborers is replaced by the new diaspora of international Indian English writers live in the market-driven world. These writers register their away from Indian experience. If they look back at their motherland, it is often a melancholic tone rather than nostalgia. So when they are in the foreign land, they are looking back to their homeland, and their experiences are given in the writing in the melancholic tone rather than nostalgia. And these modern diaspora Indian writers can be grouped into two different classes as well. One class is including those who have spent a part of their life in India and have carried the baggage of their native land also. And the other class is actually those who have been raised since childhood outside India, and their children. They have had a vision of their country only from the outside as an alien place of their origin. The writers of the previous group have a factual displacement, whereas those belonging to the latter group, that is the second generation, the writers who have actually grown up since childhood from in a foreign land, they find themselves as rootless. They find themselves as rootless. Both the groups of writers have created an enviable corpus of English literature. And these writers, while portraying migrant characters in their fiction, investigate the theme of displacement, alienation, assimilation, acculturation, etc. The diasporic Indian writers' portrayal of the dislocated characters gains immense significance if seen against the geopolitical background, and that's why it has an international leadership and lasting appeal. And here in the previous page, I told that the works of the Indian women writers, Indian female women diaspora writers, okay, had impact worldwide. And in the novels of 1980s, there are different modes of narrative techniques as well. They project social realism, mythical realism, historical romanticism, and magic realism. Even in Amitav Ghosh. Okay, Salman Rushdie's Amitav Ghosh works are also mentioned here. And Bildungsroman and Salman Rushdie's V.S. Naifal, etc. Salman Rushdie, V.S. Naifal, Amitav Ghosh, Taslima Nasrin, the Bangladeshi writer, Bangladeshi. Then Chitra Banerjee, Divakaruni, Anita Desai, Kiran Desai, Bharti Mukherjee, Suket Mehta, Bandana Singh, Bharati Kirchar, Amit Chaudhary, Rohinton Mistry as well, Geeta Mehta, Dina Mehta, Indra Ganesan, Uma Vasudeva, Namita Gokhale, Jhumpa Lahiri, Bikram Chand, Manil Suri, Richard Gasta, and Siddharth Dhawan, Savangi Rana Dasgupta are Indian diaspora writers who live overseas. Now, why they have given? Because of the better opportunities they have left their homeland, and they are now settled in foreign land. But they are not. They haven't forgot the root. There is the oscillation. There is the oscillation between the homeland and the foreign land that they are in presently. So generally, diasporic literature deals with the alienation, displacement, existential rootlessness, nostalgia, quest of identity. It also addresses issues related to the amalgamation or disintegration of cultures, and it reflects the immigrant experience that comes out of immigrant settlement. And diasporic writings unfolds the experience of unsettlement and dislocation. Yeah, the experience of unsettlement in that foreign land and the dislocation at some or other level. A diasporic text can be investigated in terms of location, dislocation, relocation as well. The changing designation of home and accompanying nervousness about homelessness and unfeasibility of going back are recurrent themes in diasporic literature. So these are the recurrent themes that can be found in the works of diasporic literature. The favorite theme of diasporic literature is the fusion of the East and the West. Yeah, this is the fusion of the East and the West. This is the favorite theme. The fusion of cultures. The fusion of cultures. The amalgamation of the cultures. The fusion of the cultures of East and West. That makes its presence felt in the English-speaking world by breaking a new ground both in themes and techniques of both fiction and poetry. And there are many European characters that come to India and adopt the Indian culture. Also remember their culture, so there creates a matter of compare and contrast between the East and the West as well. And the earliest works of this diaspora literature, diaspora, two of the earliest novels that have effectively depicted diasporic Indian characters are Anita Desai's Bye Bye Blackbird, Bye Bye Blackbird, and Kamala Markandeya's The Now Where Man. Kamala Markandeya's The Now Where Man and Bye Bye Blackbird, these are earliest examples of diasporic Indian writers. But the famous Indian diasporic writer is Bharati Mukherjee, and her novels like Wife and Jasmine depict India in the USA, and Jasmine is depicting Indians in the North America, in the land of immigrants, both legal and illegal, before globalization got its momentum. So Bharati Mukherjee's Wife and Jasmine are example of diasporic literature, whereas the earliest was Anita Desai's Bye Bye Blackbird and Kamala Markandeya's The Now Where Man. And here, Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's novel, The Mistress of Spices, also depicting the character Tilo. So in the novel, The Mistress of Spices, there is a character called Tilo, the protagonist, who is represented as an exotic character to reveal the migrant's anguish. So in Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's Mistress of Spices, also we find the elements of that is diaspora literature. Diasporic themes can be found. And even Amitabh Ghosh's novel, The Shadowlands, shows the extent of ruthlessness encountered by character born and brought up on a foreign land. So Amitabh Ghosh's Shadowland is also can be rooted in the category as well. Amit Chaudhary, his novel called Afternoon Drug, portrays the lives of Indian students in Oxford as well. So in Oxford, so Amit Chaudhary's novel Afternoon Drug, Amitabh Ghosh's The Shadowlands. In Afternoon Drug, there are some characters who are studying, so Indian students who are studying in Oxford. These writers also depicted the positive aspects of displacement because they have gone because of the opportunities. The ranks of the second generation diasporic Indian writers like Meera Syal, Shashi Tharoor, Hari Kunju, Sunitra Gupta, Jhumpa Lahiri, etc. have faithfully demonstrated the lives of both first and second generation immigrants in the USA. And this is possible because big issues like religious discrimination, racial intolerance are no longer the main concern of these writers, and Indian diasporic literature has raised different issues and aspects of immigrants' life. And here you see the fictional narratives of Bharati Mukherjee's Jasmine, that was published in 1990, Meera Syal's Anita and Me, published in 1996, and Jhumpa Lahiri's The Namesake, and the title has been taken from there is the the overcoat. Okay, the name of the work is Nikolai Gogol's The Overcoat, The Namesake. And Chitra Banerjee's another work is The Mistress of Spices. Chitra Banerjee's The Mistress of Spices, published in 1996, have shown the Indians living in England, America, and where they have immigrated either to advance their financial condition. So that is why I was speaking that it is because of the better opportunities. Why they have immigrated? They have immigrated because of the better opportunities, maybe either to advance their financial condition or to seek jobs due to unemployment at the homelands, or for better education of their children, or for better professional opportunities. So these are the things or matters that had forced them to immigrate from their homeland to the new country, to a foreign land, to the Western countries. So these are novels where we find that the characters are living in England, America, and they're spending their life for the better opportunities. Literary works like Jhumpa Lahiri's The Namesake, Meera Syal's Anita and Me, Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni's The Queen of Dreams as well. Queens of Dream have also depicted the issue of intergenerational gap of Indian diaspora, where the first generation parents expect from the children to live by the value system. And in the case of there is the name of the work is here Namesake. Okay, in the Namesake, the character's name is Google. Okay, the character's name is Google. So Google is a very outdated name. Okay, and in the school, he feels humiliated by his friends, by his peers. So Google is the name of this name in the namesake. There is a boy called Google, and this is an outdated name. Here you will find that the Queen of have also depicted the issue of intergenerational gap of Indian diaspora, where the first generation parents expect from the children to live by the value system of Indian culture. So the first generation parents are they are expecting from the children to live the value system in India, which they are trying to force on them at home through food, dress, customs, rituals, language, beliefs, and etc. But the children are actually encountering different cultural surroundings when they are in the outside, when they are in the foreign land, and find the latter have fascination sandwiched between the two cultures, and they are confused like Google. Google, that is in the namesake. Okay, in the namesake, and Meena in Anita and me, who daily hear and bear the racial discrimination from their friends in the school life. Google and here Anita, their Meena is the character in Anita and me, where they are facing the racial things, okay, from their friends in the school, and they're in the outside. Comments because of the brown skin. Here it is because of the brown skin, as they are not able to decide which is their real home, India or the country where they have been born and brought up. So nostalgia, loss, betrayal, duty are the foundations of new homes as diasporic protagonists. So the diasporic protagonists are suffering from nostalgia. They have the sense of loss and nostalgia, betrayal, and duty are the foundations of new homes as diasporic protagonists adjust on the new countries. They are trying to adjust. In adjusting to new countries, issues of acculturation and assimilation become the central point as these immigrants negotiate the unbalance of their hyphenated identities in the foreign land. And in the study of diasporic literature, displacement or dislocation is an important notion, a very important idea that is used not only to express the physical movement of an individual from one place to another, but it also shows how the movement of a person, the aggregate of a whole nation to which he or she belonged, and he had carried them with them. So dislocation is leading to cross-cultural encounters that have always affected the lives of immigrants. So dislocation from one location to he is moving to another location, and it is leading to cross-cultural encounters. This is the amalgamation of the cultures, and they have always affected the lives of these cross-cultural effects have always affected the lives of immigrants, and there is constantly the possibility of rejection, confusion, tension when people from different cultures are intermingle when they are assimilating. So that's why there is the confusion, tension, and rejection. And this interaction portrays the immigrants caught in flight between boundaries, astonishingly complicated web of memories, relationship, and image. The migrants in the foreign culture lie in soft bond memory of the motherland, and the relocation had its disgust for one thing when one does not have a home, but there is a sense of belonging as well, and he has to live in the reminiscence, a collective memory representing a symbolic relationship between the past and the present. And identity becomes the core issue in investigation of diaspora. So what is identity is becoming the core issue in any investigation of diaspora, particularly diasporic identity that is made of various factors and sub-factors as well. The diasporic identity is a multi-level actually, and it is also based on the history or the condition leading to migration as well as the individual responses to the circumstances. And the experiences of dislocation is dependent on factors such as generation of diaspora and one that belongs, impact of globalization, and why the diaspora has shifted away from its homeland, and also the approach to the host country towards the diasporic community, and how so the experiences why they have shifted from their homeland to a foreign land, and how they have been welcomed, in that foreign, the approach of the host country towards the diasporic community. And there are also some factors like language, race, socio-cultural, environmental depend on the problem of nation identity after migration takes place as well. And a new aspect of this life in exile got added in post-independence period in India, when many people in the 60s and 70s began moving towards developed countries on their own agreement, either to avoid political or economical difficulties of their native land, or to study as a professional, which Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak calls as the part of brain drain. So Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak is here this trend. So this trend is called as by Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak brain drain. Here you see in the 1960s and 1970s. Here, many people are moving towards developed countries on their own agreement, either to avoid the political or the economic difficulties of their native land, or to study or as to professional, which Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak calls as part of brain drain. Since then, this move to other countries has been ongoing actually, and it is important to note that whatever the reasons for migration be, the immigrants do experience the sense of unbelonging and displacement as well in the new lands, and they may try hard to assimilate or accelerate in the new cultures, and they remain on the edge of the adopted culture and treated as other. They are always treated as also, they remain on the edge of the adopted culture and they are treated as other in that foreign land. And even so, it's not about fiction. It's not about fiction here. It's not about novels. In poetry, there is also the elements can be found here as well. Poetry is not as popular as the novel, but can be found, or short story, but still there is some major contribution by the Indian diaspora in Indo-American literature. Okay, A.K. Ramanujan occupies an important place among Indo-American poets with a wish for connectedness, and the absence of connection were two facts of Ramanujan's poetic world. And another work is Mina Alexander's Migrant Music, dealing with the belonging and home which are created by the excavation and the recomposition of the past as well. Aga Sahid Ali is a Kashmiri exile. Aga Sahid Ali and his important work, themes of homeland, loss and exile, central to Ali's work. The Half-Inch Himalayas is a collection of poems. Okay, the Half-Inch Himalayas is a collection of poems depicted in 4 sections by Aga Sahid Ali, the very space opened up in exile. A nostalgic map of America is also of Hollywood that reveals alien spaces of hyphenated identity. And here, Bikram Seth was also a well-known Indian expatriate novelist, and also contributed to his collection of poems like The Golden Gate, which is a first novel, and All You Who Sleep Tonight. So Bikram Seth, the Half-Inch Himalayas by Aga Sahid Ali, and Nostalgics. These are all important works. The poetry is related with the elements of diaspora. And this is how. So this is a short video where I have discussed diaspora literature and the important writers of Indian diaspora literature. I will be in the upcoming page. We'll be making videos as well as on diaspora literature. We'll be taking a particular individual writer and we'll be discussing their important works as well. Thank you, Vijay. So I'll be sharing this PDF. in the Telegram channel. Do join, and I'll be sharing the PDF in the Telegram channel as well. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Vijay, Rao, Subramsu, Anindita, Sujit, Susmita, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I'll be conducting another session, probably at 11. Okay, let me end it here. Okay, let me end it here. I'll be starting at 10:30. Okay, I'll be starting at 10:30 or 10:30. Another session, MCQ series. Okay. Do join at 10:30. Okay, we'll be doing another session, MCQ series. Okay, do join at 10:30. Thank you, Subramshu, Vijay, Rao, Subramshu, and Anandita, Judita, everyone. I will be doing another session as well at 10:30. Okay, I will be conducting C West. ठीक है, Sujit, C West, and Rao and Godot and the other paid students who I have not joined today's session. Okay, chalo.